Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow! Yeah, look at me. Hold on. Alright. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, Cat, you got your iPaw? Whiskers. Hey, you know what? This Whiskers has an ad attached to it. This seems like a natural. Purina cat chow. I mean, oh, chow. Yeah, chow. It's, here we are getting ready for Cinco de Junio, and you know, now that Bill Murray up in the hammock let the cat out of the bag, so to speak, and yelled out right in the middle of our show, I'm sick and tired of hearing about your damn Scrabble Board trademark, and then all hell broke loose, and the darn board got banged or knocked or something, and it's all old Scrabble. Hey, Carl Manx. We're on the air? Oh, good gracious. Okay. Alrighty. So, a little piece of little that didn't solidify, apparently. Yeah. Hey, Lil. Hey, Lil. Oops. The studio's all... Hey! Okay. Did you have a good vacation, Walter? Apparently for the last week she spent her extra 42nd work week. She spent it one quick stroll around the house extra. And you're hunting for... No, he's back behind. He's behind Basil. I'm not gonna find him there. So, yeah, but Basil posed me a question about what Kristen and I have been up to. He asked, wow. He asked, what have you been up to this past week? I mean, you know, Basil Basil likes to hang right about here. It's it's his natural spot, and Walter's not blocking your view, guys. We've got up in the hammock, and I can just sense that he's ready to start yelling out that he's sick and tired of hearing about the damn Scrabble board again, because apparently Bill Murray worked really hard. He's up there with Stephen T. Colbert, and Drew Carey, who Basil likes to refer to as LFFF. And once again, I'm going to have to say, we don't want to say anything that might be offensive, and so we won't. I mean, the cats understand it. So here we are. It's the eve of Cinco de Junio, and in answer to your question, yeah, we Kristen and I went to see. Remember watching Cloverfield, right, Basil? Basil said, said, yeah, about 10 times so far. Yeah, we seem to like the movie Cloverfield. It's got everything that you could want in a movie. It's got a love story. It's got a broken heart. It's got a monster that ends up getting gal pinned on a big piece of rebar, and a guy that goes and yanks her off that rebar. That's gotta hurt. And everything turns out okay in the end, except they die. Don't want to give away the ending. But so yeah, we went to see 10 Cloverfield Lane, and it's sort of like Cloverfield in a sense that it's got a big monster thing. It's got that's about it. But we enjoyed it. Yeah, it's by J.J. Abrams, who J.J. Abrams did your the one you like, Basil, about the Kennedy assassination, and Basil's been working on said said, look, screenplay's still in process. Don't talk about it too much. Okay. So 11/22/63. It's a story about the Kennedy assassination and how Stephen King's character is introduced to a wormhole, and he walks into the meat locker and walks out in Dallas, Texas in 1960, has to hang around and get into all kinds of situations in the meantime, and in order to figure out how to stop the Kennedy assassination, and I guess he did. I'm not sure. I guess he stopped it. But Karl Manx, you do this, Walter? So he, I guess he stopped the Kennedy assassination, and but of course, the old time traveler concern is that if you do anything to upset a ripple in the past, it ripples forward and changes everything going forward, and be careful what you wish for kind of situation. So Basil's rewrite Well, it's not a rewrite. It's a continuation, actually. That Stephen King's character is back in the here and now, and things have changed. And Kennedy lived, and going forward, and a lot of stuff changed, and apparently a lot of it's not for the good. And no fault of Kennedy's, but you're gonna want to watch that, huh? Bill Murray says he was in that zombie movie. Sweetness, what was the name of that zombie movie? Oh,
Zombieland.
Zombieland. Okay. And so Bill Murray was in Zombieland. He had a cameo appearance, a pretty long one, but he played himself, and he's they're trying to figure out if anybody is left not zombieized, and they come across Bill Murray, and it's usual Bill Murray movie. They do a lot of marijuana and all kinds of zaniness. So we got Kennedy lives, and the world is forever changed. And so the character takes a look at the upshot of what he's done by keeping Kennedy from being killed, and he decides that he better go back and he better try to undo what he's done. And he goes back, and lo and behold, Basil said, "You said too much already." All right, well, here we go. Goes back, and the character becomes the extra gunman on the grassy knoll to make sure that what's been undone gets redone, and the world's not changed in all kinds of crazy ways. And what do you think, guys? You think that's okay? You think that'll work? Stephen Colbert's got a sign which says, "Sorry, just copyrighted the idea." There you go. Sorry, Basil. So it's we were here. We were talking about I don't know where our Mexican hats went to, but they're around. So we're talking about, and we're tired. I mean, because we did 1,862 consecutive hours of Basilathon 2016, and we've had. We've done a couple shows since then, but we're still kind of poked out about the whole thing. I mean, we were up for a long time, and I mean, we catnapped in between half-hour shows with a couple minutes. We kept trying to find corporate sponsors, and none of them cooperated. And A&W Root Beer wouldn't stay as A&W Root Beer, and weren't going to give us any money anyway, so we had give away. How many of these did we give away, Basil? I think we gave away one about every said can I quote you on that? Okay. Basil said, we gave away 1,862 of them, and 1,849 of them we gave away to Hershey's, and these are what Basil dubbed the Hershey's Kiss Award, and says he found it out on the plains of Africa, on the veldt. He was on a safari, and was following a lion around with and Basil's safari guide brought along a big scoop and a big truck to load these things on. I kept picking these things up, and Basil said, let's ship them back home, and we'll find a use for them. Well, here's our use for them. We were giving them away. We've got a few of them left over. Anybody want to call Basil up and ask him for one? Basil will probably be happy to oblige. You can email Basil. Basil BuddhaCat at gmail.com. He said, I'm not going to repeat that. Oh, okay. I misinterpreted for a second. He said, screw Fox News, here comes cat news. Is that my cue that we're going to do some news? Okay, so last week we were talking about, of course, the Scrabble board and how Bill Murray held up the sign it's up in the hammock with Stephen T. Colbert and Drew Carey, also known as LFFF. And okay, that's a lot of overtime. I mean, Walter's got a 40-second work week, and I think we kind of exceeded that. So we were talking about the Scrabble board, and we had ourselves a show. We had a big contract with Comcast and Cablevision down in Norwalk, whatever that's called now, and also angling for charter. And of course, this is how we were angling for charter. Just like this. And didn't do a lot of good. They kept telling us they didn't like the show anyway. So why would they pay us for a show that they wouldn't take for free? So here's to you, Charter, with hey, presenting to Charter Cable Television in Newtown. You can pick up anytime you want to. Safety gloves not included. So just about ready to get this big contract, and then lo and behold, up in the hammock, there's Bill Murray with a big sign that says, and he yelled it out too. He said, "I'm sick and tired of hearing about your damn Scrabble board." And so Snarky apparently has been investigating this whole thing about this Scrabble board and whether we have, the right to use it from Selchow and Ryder Incorporated, Bay Shore, Long Island, New York, 11706, and whether or not we have the right to use it, whether we ask permission. And Basil's been saying all along. This has been an ongoing thing, and we thought we had this settled. Basil's been saying, yeah, of course we had permission. We sought permission and we got it to use the Scrabble board. Because we've used it quite a bit, and we've done a lot of things like, for instance, Carl Manx came out of the Scrabble board, and we've done some things with Donald Trump and old rant and dump, something like that. And I don't know. We had other words in there, and we dragged out of it. Hand runt or runty hands or something like that. I don't know. And we thought we had permission to do that, and we've been using it regularly in our news stories. Well, now, all of a sudden, I find out that Basil did not have permission. At least Snarky, beep, a Stanny snark hound. It's telling us no, we didn't have permission. And if we had asked for permission to use the Scrabble board, he would have said no. He would have gotten the word from the powers that be. No, you can't use the Scrabble board. Don't ask, because if you ask, or you didn't ask, because if you did ask, the answer would have been no. And now Basil's, he says, no big deal. He said, I made a mistake. Okay. It's Hans Schlackenguger from Selchow and Ryder on. Oh, look at that. On the medium phone. That's rare, because usually when we get people call in, they'll call in, they'll end up being on the non-working red phone, or it'll be on the inky dinky phone, or it'll be, that's here on the table somewhere, the micro inky dinky phone. So Hans, it's not Hans Schlackenbogger, or whatever name I said before. It's not Hans. It's well, I guess Hans, because Hans doesn't have the D in it, which makes it a smaller word than the word hands. And I guess there's a way of translating that, if you want to get really creative, into small hands, or reduced size hands to Hans. So there he is. He's on the phone, and you know what? I'm going to just have you talk to here. You're on this phone, and I don't know how you got onto this big phone, but I'm going to put you in touch with Lil on the Cat in the Hat phone, and you guys could have a conversation. If anybody else calls in, it'll probably be on the micro winky dinky phone anyway. So there you go. And don't scream. He screams a lot. He does. Oh, that was Lil. Well, there you go. See? There you go. You got into a discussion with a cat and got out screamed. That's good. Probably got some names for you that probably will annoy you and fluster you like you do for other people. So it's Cinco de Junio coming up tomorrow. We've done Cinco, well, for a couple of years now we've been doing all the Cincos. And of course a month ago, Cinco de Mayo, we had our hats. For Cinco de Junio, I guess we're going to not use the hats. We're going to go without hats. Cats without hats, if you will. So now you're claiming that you were mistaken. You thought you had permission. You thought you asked permission and got permission to use the Scrabble board. And wow, I'm not even gonna. We can't use it, so I'm not going to show anybody what's on, how the letters have been rearranged. But I'm sure that periodically we can pretend. We can show it on. We can show some graphics, as long as they're not Scrabble tile looking graphics. We can do that. And Colbert's gone. Where'd he go? Well, apparently after Stephen T. Colbert left the Colbert Report on Comedy Central and went to take David Letterman's place on The Late Show formerly with David Letterman, now The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. In between, and you probably saw him on the internet. He did a TV show at a little cable TV station up in the upper Midwest somewhere. I think it was in the upper peninsula of Michigan. And he did a show. And on that show he had the actual rap performer Eminem on, and had a 15-minute conversation with Eminem about Eminem and about Stephen Colbert. And then, in the meanwhile, apparently they had the camera running. They probably borrowed it from the cable TV station up there. They had the camera running, and it just followed Colbert 24/7, no matter what he was doing, eating, sleeping, belching, farting, whatever he was doing, it captured it on. And in the meanwhile, they were chopping it up and adding in the obligatory advertisements, chopping it up into whatever an hour TV show consists of nowadays, 45 minutes or 40 minutes or however much, and threw the advertisements in, and they made enough shows apparently to keep The Late Show with Stephen Colbert going for about 6 years. So he's been sitting up in the hammock while people are actually thinking he's had some people on, I guess, the show during that time, and did some shows with Donald Trump, and all the time we had him here. So who knows who was standing in for him. And I don't know. So we're gonna have to here, scratch the back of Basil's head a little bit more. So it's the eve of Cinco de Junio. This has been Basil BuddhaCat Presents. I'm David Stevenson, Basil's co-host, interpreter, and chief gopher, and we'll be back Sunday morning, and we'll actually have something to talk about. Have a great Friday evening, and we'll see you Sunday morning. Bye. They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, Meow.